What's up everybody, Mr. Play Dr. Gaming here, back with another video for y'all today. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 things, in my opinion, that will make Diablo 4 a better game. Everybody knows that ever since Season 1 launch, Diablo 4 been having a rough start. And me personally, I'm going to give my opinion and what Blizzard can do to make Diablo 4 the best game it can be. So anyway, let's get right into the video. One thing Blizzard really need to do to make Diablo 4 a better game is that they need to take out Renown. Renown is like one of the worst systems in Diablo 4. It's because you literally doing nothing but filling up a bar by doing meaningless overworld tasks. And let's be frank with ourselves, doing these tasks are not fun. And it also level you up slowly as well, because most of the outside stuff in Diablo 4 is not fun content. Running side quests is not fun content. The reason running side quests and doing these dungeons, I'm talking about the normal dungeon, I ain't talking about the nightmare dungeon. You always want to do nightmare dungeon, but the problem with Renown is that it stops you from doing nightmare dungeon and fun content to do this boring, endless slog, man. And the fact that they make you redo Renown every single season don't make no sense. Look, I did Renown the first time. I found all the altars of Lilith, and I did all that. Shoot, when Season 1 started, I found all the waypoints. I think that was stupid. That was stupid of Blizzard to make you find all the waypoints again. Like, why, Blizzard? Why we need to do all the extra stuff in the game that doesn't matter, like refining waypoints and doing all this stuff? Like, dude, just make it so we don't have to do that. Like, dude, when we start a new season, just give us extra 20 Paragon point right off the bat so we can just ignore Renown, because Renown is nothing but a time waster. That's all Renown really is. Another problem that Blizzard need to fix with Diablo 4 is the lack of in-game content. Look, running Nightmare is okay. Running Nightmare dungeons is okay, but you get tired of running Nightmare dungeon. I feel like Diablo 4 should have more stuff to do than just run a Nightmare dungeon, because running the same Nightmare dungeon gets stale. And you can say, oh, they're Helltide and world bosses, but they also get stale. And also, those things are on a timer, so you can't run those things all the time. So you basically just stuck doing like Nightmare dungeons. Like I said, Nightmare dungeons are not that bad, but at the same time, it's just that you get bored, you get burnt out in the game, because the Nightmare dungeon, you basically doing the same, killing the same mobs and doing the same objectives. There are no varieties in Nightmare dungeon except just the same objective and the same mob, and you just fight stronger mob as you go in the Nightmare dungeon tier. So that's why I don't like about the end game of Diablo 4 is that the lack of activities, or you can say Helltide and world bosses, but those activities are on a timer, and they don't reward you as much like a Nightmare dungeon does. Because you can constantly run a Nightmare dungeon, you can't constantly run a Helltide or world boss. That's the problem with the lack of in-game activities in Diablo 4. It's not enough in-game activity, and the other 2 in-game activities in the game are on a timer. So yeah, that's problem number 2 when it comes to Diablo 4. Another thing that would make Diablo 4 a better game is Blizzard actually do something about the lag spikes that their server cause. Like, man, I can count the many times my finger where my game just started lagging all of a sudden. Like, it just started hitting like lag spikes, and that caused me to die in some dungeon. Because Diablo 4, especially when you playing with like Nightmare dungeons, can be brutal. Like, Diablo 4 can be kind of hard when you playing like Nightmare dungeons and trying to fight certain bosses, and the lag spike does not help in Diablo 4. That one thing I really don't like about Diablo 4 is that it's an always online game, and with an always online game, look, I don't really care about always online game because I be connected to the internet like 90% of the time anyway. But the problem with having a game always online, it is not a PvP multiplayer game, is that when you play a PvE online based game, death that should not have happened because the server decided to crap itself at that exact moment when you were playing. Like, there are plenty of times in Diablo 4 where you can be doing very, very well, then you all of a sudden just hit a lag spike out of nowhere and it caused your character to die because of it. Or this is an infamous example with many hardcore player experience where the game just decided to disconnect you, and when you come back, the game just kills your character off. Now, I know the disconnect itself don't kill your character, because Diablo 4 don't don't move your character if you disconnect. Like, your character still be there, but the enemies around it also be there as well. So the enemies are gonna kill your character off. So you not only you gotta try log in back in time so your character won't die. This is only for hardcore, by the way. They won't play Diablo hardcore because a disconnect can just make your time wasted. Because in hardcore, your character don't just automatically go back in town. No, your character still be where they would be where they would the moment you disconnect, and enemies can kill that character off. And your hardcore character you work so hard to get can just be eliminated by not the fault of your own, but the fault that the game disconnected at the wrong time. And that happened plenty of times in Diablo 4 where the games just disconnect out of nowhere. So yeah, Blizzard really do need to fix their servers if they're gonna make Diablo 4 since Diablo 4 always online game, even when you playing like single player content. And I think it's ludicrous a company at Blizzard's side got all that money cannot make stable servers for the game. Another thing that can make Diablo 4 a better game is having less stats. What I mean by this is there are many stats in Diablo 4 that a character can roll on a specific pair of gear. And that gear can roll with some useless stats 9 times out of 10 because there are only a handful of stats in Diablo 4 you would ever use. I'm going to go ahead and give you the one that you would always use in Diablo 4 because if I go through the list of the stats you wouldn't use, there's a lot of stuff in Diablo 4 you would just not use. The stat you are always going to look for in Diablo 4 is damage reduction, vulnerable, and core skill damage. Those are the 2 stats you will look for in Diablo 4, because the other stats in Diablo 4 are just so useless. And I forgot other 2 stats. You also look for cooldown reduction and movement speed. That's it. Like, the other stats in Diablo 4 are so useless, you would just not use them because they are so situational that there's no need to put it on your character. So that's another problem with D4 is that D4 has a lot of unnecessary stats in the game. Like, they're literally some stats that they don't make no sense. Like, there's a stat, right, where you gain 4 movement speed after killing an elite. Why do I need movement speed after I kill an elite? That is so situational. Because I need a stat gonna help me kill elite, not a stat that give me something for killing an elite. Why in the world do I need benefits after I killed the main target? They don't make no sense. Like, I can understand the stat said, oh, if you kill a normal enemy, you gain 4 movement speed for a certain period of time. Why in the world after I killed the strongest enemy in the pack, I only get like 4 seconds of movement speed? Why would you want to get gear that give me permanent movement speed regardless of what situation I'm in? Like, that's what I'm saying. That is so stupid how Diablo 4 prioritizes gear in this game. Because I don't like the unnecessary gearing. I don't like the unnecessary stats because they take up other stat that you probably want. And rerolls in Diablo 4 is so expensive, they can go up to like the millions in gold. Because you want to make a gear, you will make a gear god tier, but you can't because you got this useless stat, and you keep on re-rolling that gear piece until you get to like 200 million gold. Like, that's how ridiculous re-rolling stats also in Diablo 4. Like, are you serious? You take up like most of my gold for re-rolling stat because you gave me crap stats to begin with, stats I would just never use. Another thing I think Diablo 4 really do need to improve on is their bosses. I feel like Diablo 4 has so many great bosses when it comes to the story mode, but they go so misused because you only fight the boss stories during the story. Like, you cannot go back to the story bosses and fight them again and get in. Hopefully they drop certain loot that you can't get from other bosses. That's another reason I really don't like Diablo 4, because the story bosses are only segregated to the story, and all the other bosses in Diablo 4 are just so easy, dude. Like, dudes, the mobs are more harder than the bosses in Diablo 4, because the bosses in Diablo 4 only got one main attacks, and the other attacks are either something to annoy you, to slow you down for killing them fast, or some bosses only got that where you can just literally just chew through their health bar. Like, bosses in Diablo 4 are a joke. Like, they're a joke. They can be one-shotted easily. Like, the only bosses that actually give you a challenge is the Capstone 50 boss and the Elias boss and the Uber Lily boss. And I go so far as say that the story bosses actually give you a run for your money. Because I played Diablo 4 when it came out in World Tier 2, and these bosses can be something else. So the fact that Blizzard is not reusing story bosses are a shame, because they'll make excellent in-game bosses. Like, think about it. Take the World 5 boss, not the World 5, but the Act 5. But I don't know what act they was. I know one act you had to fight like a boss during a sandstorm, right? That boss was awesome. I think that'd be a great boss to make a Uber boss, make it extra hard. Like, that boss was kind of well designed. You know what? As I said, it was kind of annoying, but it's the most challenging boss in Diablo 4 story mode that I'm trying to get. Even Bowl, the Tyrant King was a decent boss, and the other bosses Diablo 4 got. Like, Diablo 4, when it comes to bosses, is really lacking, and I hope in the near future they reuse some of these story bosses, because these story bosses, I ain't gonna lie, were fun to fight. And also Azeroth, we wouldn't call it the dude with a giant crystal in his head, he was also kind of fun to fight. He's a DPS chick. I know he's a DPS chick, but still though, this dude is kind of fun to fight. Like, he actually challenging. I like bosses that are challenging and just push your shit in if you're not careful. But also, I don't like bosses like Uber Lilith. Uber Lilith is one of the worst in-game bosses in Diablo 4. Oh my god, unless you one-shotting Uber Lilith, she is not fun to fight at all. I mean, she got attacks you cannot avoid, and her attack literally one-shots you. Wait a minute, I can't say you don't avoid her attack, but I'm saying her shot one-shots you if you don't avoid it. That's what I meant to say. I don't like bosses that can just one-shot you. I don't like one-shot in general when it comes to games like this. Especially Diablo 4, where you can literally dodge her attack, but since this game is an always online game, sometimes the server get confused and literally kills you because the server thought you were somewhere you were clearly not. So that's another reason. There's another reason Uber Lily sucks as a boss. It don't have nothing to do with the boss itself. It's the fact that the servers can sometimes screw you over because Blizzard decided to make this game an online only game. So yeah, that's my thing. I feel like Diablo 4 can improve on. Look, I love Diablo 4. I think Diablo 4 is a solid ARPG. I enjoy Diablo 4. I mean, I've been playing this game ever since it dropped. And the only thing I want to see Diablo is better. I hope Diablo 4 gets better. And I hope Blizzard really take these suggestions into account, because, to be honest, I'm enjoying Diablo 4. I love Diablo 4, but this game, it got so much missed potential. That's one thing I don't like about Blizzard, is that Blizzard got some good ideas, but since they're part of Activision Blizzard, since they're part of Activision, a company known for just sucking out great ideas and just made them to like cash machines, it just kills the concept, the amazing concept they can come up with. And I feel like some of these things I presented in the video would just make Diablo 4 a better game to play. So anyway, it's been Mr. Play Doctor with another video. See y'all next time. Peace.